Why do I feel like suddenly I've totally forgot what I've learned in French class? I'm just getting amnesia. I can't remember anything and I'm all alone in this foreign country. What the? Iya teh naon meni hese pisan atuh. Kumaha ya di mana teu terang ya teh. Jangar pisan. Welcome back to Zevaulia with me Zeva, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. My channel is about empowering you not only on the inside but also on the outside. I also provide subtitles and closed captions in English and Bahasa Indonesia. So if you are Indonesian, kalau misalnya kamu orang Indonesia dan ingin subtitles atau closed caption Bahasa Indonesia, tinggal diklik aja di screen YouTube kalian. In this video, I will give you 7 empowering tips on how to fluently and more confidently speak in a foreign language that is not your mother tongue. So if you want to speak in English, Bahasa Indonesia, vous voulez parler français, wenn du das sprechen willst, saya voka kue fala Portuguese, Nihongo hanashitai bai, Hangugel ilhago siptamyan, etc. Any languages in the world out there, more fluently and comfortably, this video is for you. Now let's get into the very first tip. Identify and overcome your fears. Why is this super important? Because it is very foundational for you to really understand about yourself, to really identify what are the factors that really make you nervous in speaking and learning a new language. And everybody has different fears. Not everybody is exactly the same. For example, you could have a fear of being laughed at by people when you make mistakes in a foreign language, or another fear is that you feel uncomfortable if somebody criticizes you and it really pushes your self-esteem down the drain. And maybe you have a fear of not being able to be understood when you stutter as you talk. There are various fears out there, and when you identify the root causes of why this fear happens in the first place, it will make it easier for you to find ways on how to tackle them. For example, if you have a fear that you will stutter when you talk and that will make people not understand you, maybe the solution is you have to change your mindset, because if you don't start now and you keep on postponing, you will keep on stuttering and you won't perfect the way you speak. You need to have a mindset that mistakes are normal as long as you keep on learning to be better. This can be implemented in various aspects of our lives. And on that note, we have to find environments and also sources that will lift our spirits up. One of them is finding affirmations and motivations. It could be from books, it could be from articles, it could be from friends, from your lecturers, from your teachers, from YouTubers like me. You know, there are various ways on how to shape a more positive mindset. And you need to know that there is no rush in learning a foreign language. You know, everybody's capacity is different, everybody's learning styles is different, because everybody is just built different. You just need to find your flow. My second tip is to ignore the naysayers. What naysayers mean is those negative Nancy's, people who like to put others down. Let me just say a few words to those people who like to put others down because you don't think that they're as good as you. You have to check your privileges. Everybody has a different starting point. Everybody has a different privilege, okay? Let's think about it this way. Let's compare person A and also person B. Now, person A, since a very young age, he or she has various privileges. For example, from a well-off family, parents could afford good quality schools and education systems. They could also afford their child to go to various language lessons, language courses. And another privilege that A could have is that maybe he or she has traveled abroad often since a very young age. So B, for example, he or she comes from a family that is, you know, middle class or even lower, and his parents or her parents couldn't afford him or her to take various language lessons, and also maybe he has, you know, a bit of a struggle in learning a new language. So that is why we can't really compare apple to apple, and you really need to check your privileges. I just feel kind of bothered with people who mock other people from the way that they write and the way that they speak, because there are many factors why these people struggle in the first place, and you can't just put them down. For example, online I see you mocking them and saying that, oh my god, like the way that he or she writes is like so out of whack, like it is so incorrect, and it just makes me cringe, like oh my god, you know, like even though some people say that this is a joke, it's something that, oh, don't take it too seriously, just take it as a joke. But sometimes what is the line between a joke and also something that could hurt another person. Some people are more sensitive than others. Some people even are prone to depression, and I'm serious, it's not something to be laughed about. And some people might even spin it, say that they're trying to help these people to speak better, but then they're also kind of being really mean about it, putting these people down. It's just, I don't know, it's not constructive to me, and it's just really mean. That if you guys are among the people who do that, just please stop, because you don't really know how other people can cope. If you can speak a certain language and you're very fluent at it, good for you. But there are people out there who are struggling, and we shouldn't laugh at them and we shouldn't mock them, and then to save ourselves we say that, oh, it's only a joke, you know, chill out. Because sometimes you don't know what other people are going through, so just stop. And if you are the person that is experiencing that, ignore those people. Just focus on you, focus on the goals that you want to achieve, go on with your life. And you need to understand that in the very end of the day, if you do want to excel, if you do want to speak fluently in the language that you want to learn, you have to start somewhere. And in that process that you will go through, you will always find various challenges. And that includes people who will mock you, people who will make fun of the way that you write in a foreign language, the way that you speak in a foreign language, whatever. It says more about them than it does say about you. The third tip that I have for you is to improve your vocab or your vocabulary through fun ways. Have you ever wondered how English actually evolved through the times and became the language that is mostly used in various parts of the world? It's not only because the Brits, the very long ago, colonized various countries across the globe. It's not only because of that, but if you think about it, what really accelerated the use of English is actually through pop culture. And who does that best? Hollywood. Hollywood, through its movies, through its films, it really shapes how people perceive the West, how people want to have various lifestyles that is very enticing for them. It really shapes trends as well, various things that Hollywood shaped global society. And because we see these movies, these films, and how they speak, how they act, it really kind of seeps into our mind and our brains, and that includes also the language that they speak. And for many people's cases, it actually makes it easier for people to learn English. And this entwines to my next tip on how to learn vocabularies of foreign languages in a fun way. It's through watching films, it's through watching movies, it's through reading books, it's through reading articles. This can really shape the way that your brain absorbs foreign languages and memorizes the patterns, memorizes the lingual systems. It really does help. So if you guys want to learn further Japanese, Chinese, French, German, Portuguese, Greek, Spanish, Indonesian, any other language out there that you pique interest in, one of the best ways that you can do it is actually to start watching their local films, local movies, read their books in their language and read articles, because these things really help to shape your mindset and really absorb how local and the natives themselves speak and act within their cultural identity. By reading resources, by watching resources, it actually helps your listening skills and your reading skills, and it will eventually also help your writing skills and speaking skills. So go and find the movies that you love to watch, and then the books that you love to read, the topics that you're interested in. These things will really make your learning process more enjoyable. A useful tip for me is that when you watch foreign movies, foreign films, what you can do is to find movies and films in that language that you're interested in that has subtitles or closed captions at the very bottom. And what you can do is, especially if you are a newbie or you're not very fluent yet, what you can do is go back and forth between the subtitles and then also the footage of the film or the movie, and do that back and forth until you can let go and not really depend on the subtitles all the time. Another fun way that you can do to improve your vocab is to download various language apps out there. For example, these ones here. You know, a lot of people nowadays, they're on their phone all the time, nearly all the time, including me. And one of the ways that you can do to make it more effective is actually to use that time to learn a new language, to learn a foreign language. Now let's go into the fourth tip. The fourth tip is to try and train your brain. Make it practice to think in the foreign language that you're learning. Do not translate word by word from one language to another, because usually the systems are different, the grammatical systems or the style is different. However, if you're still learning at the very start, It is quite okay, to translate word by word, but you have to practice to not do that. Because if you do that, oftentimes it won't sound natural. Another thing is that you don't need to be bogged down by grammar, especially if you're still learning, and especially if it's just for day-to-day conversation. For example, if you want to talk with your friends, your neighbors, people on the street, when you go shopping, when you go to the supermarket, and any other day-to-day mundane tasks. However, of course, if you're writing an essay, if you're doing this for college and other formal stuff for career terms, for example, if you want to make a speech, if you want to explain something in your job that is more of a formal setting, it is best to have better grammar, especially in a more professional atmosphere. However, even if you feel that you still can't fluently speak that foreign language, you shouldn't pressure yourself too much, because you need to remember that it is not your mother tongue and there will always be room for improvement. And if you think about it, even natives themselves, if you ask them about like grammatical structures, I bet you that not all of them will actually understand and get it anyway, because their own language is second nature to them. They have been speaking it since they were a child. So you can't compare apple to apple, because what I've already explained previously about privileges, everybody is different. Everybody's starting point is different, so don't pressure yourself too much. My fifth tip is to strengthen your substance if it's something specific that you want to talk about, or strengthen your knowledge in general. Because when you know what you want to talk about, when it's already like second nature to you and in your head, it will actually make it easier for you to deliver what you want to say in that foreign language, because you have the materials to talk about. In order for this to work, is you need to assess your audience or the person that you're trying to talk to. You need to know their background, and then you will decide whether it is something casual or informal, where you don't really need to have like a high level ability of speaking, or if it's something more formal, where you really need to work on the substances that you have. And once you have identified who you are talking to, it makes it easier for you to really prepare your substance or the things that you want to deliver to that person or to that audience. And this fifth tip actually links back to the third tip about vocabulary, because if you have a great vocabulary and if you also know what you're trying to talk about, you're strong in your substance, you're strong in your knowledge, it really makes it easier for you to converse with other people. Especially this is for the more formal settings. If it's just for casual daily conversation, you don't really need to be bogged down by it so much, in my opinion anyway. Everybody's different, but that's just my opinion. The sixth tip for me is to practice, practice, and practice. You can first of all practice with yourself. So it's good to practice in front of the mirror and see how you talk, your gesture, and then whether what you're saying it makes sense or not. It really does help to really practice with yourself and assess yourself, so you know your weakness and also your strength. Another idea is to practice with a friend or a group of friends casually. It could be somebody from your own country or someone who is a native speaker. It doesn't matter, as long as you and that person or the people that you're speaking with have the same goal to improve your conversational skills. It really helps because it makes you more comfortable. It's in a more casual, laid-back setting, and then you can also give each other feedback about how you speak and whether you're speaking in a structural way or whether it's a bit too rambly. Another way, if you have a privilege to travel to the country where the language you're trying to learn is widely spoken, or even it's the national language, try to converse with the native speakers there or anybody who have lived there for a very, very long time. This will actually help you better exercise your foreign language capabilities when you're in the country, because many people speak that language and you just have to push yourself to use the foreign language even better than before. But if you don't have the courage to start, you will never start. So it is always good to start bit by bit than nothing at all. Even for me, if I see a foreigner showing like their utmost effort to speak your language, it is a big compliment, and it is something I really respect, because I know what it's like traveling to foreign countries and you don't really know their native language and you're really trying your hardest to, speak their language as best as you can. Another important factor that I want to emphasize is that accents is not a be-all end-all. It is not the most important. What is most important is to make sure that other people eventually will understand what you're trying to deliver, what you're trying to say. That is more important than trying to sound, for example, if it's English that you want to learn, trying to sound more American or trying to sound more Australian, trying to sound more British. That's not important, okay? The most important thing is that they will understand you. My 7th tip is to take conversation classes. There are various classes out there with various price ranges that you can try to make your fluency even better in the foreign language that you're trying to learn. I also have a friend who actually started a startup a few years ago called English Cafe. English Cafe is super affordable, so if anybody in Indonesia, semua orang Indonesia yang pengen harga yang murah dan affordable banget, kalian bisa coba English Cafe. The unique thing about English Cafe is that you can learn the language in a cafe setting, so it is more informal, it is laid back and relaxed, because sometimes people can get a bit intimidated in a classroom setting, right? So there are many innovations out there for you to learn various foreign languages. Also, find startups in your country that provide foreign language lessons that are not only good quality, but also very affordable for the pocket. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you believe that what I have delivered is beneficial for you and has helped you in one way or the other, don't forget to put your thumbs up, and if you have any questions, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe and also push the notification bell for more goodies in the future. Stay optimistic, good luck with your foreign language learning, and see you in the next video.